I just found out my husband, M35, got chlamydia while I am, F31, pregnant. We have been in a relationship for almost 10 years and have been officially married for 2 years. A few days ago, my husband started experiencing testicular pain and tested positive for chlamydia. I was so confused about the result until he finally confessed that he received oral sex from a masseuse 2 years ago during his bachelor party. He said that was the only time it ever happened and that he's felt guilty ever since, especially now, knowing it could affect me and the baby. That's why he chose to confess. I'm currently 3 months pregnant. Even if I test positive, it can be treated easily. But what hurts me the most is that I trusted him with all my heart. He has always been a loving and caring husband. I really don't want to leave him over one mistake, but the fact that he let it happen and then hid it from me for 2 years is killing me inside. How do you move forward after a breach of trust this deep? 2 years ago and just now having symptoms? He's lying. My friends and I are professionals when it comes to these type of morally corrupt activities. It's unlikely he had chlamydia for 2 years then got symptoms. Some people don't experience symptoms at all and are surprised by a positive test. The people that do get symptoms, in particular, pain in the berries, were exposed in the last few weeks. Only reason I'm outing my activities is his story is bullshit and he's selfishly putting you and baby at risk. That's fucked up. I'm not sure how you could believe anything he's telling you. Okay, so he cheated on that bachelor party. But that's not where he got chlamydia. Don't be naive. I don't think he got this from oral sex. He is lying to you. He got it from sex with someone else. It is not a mistake. It's a big deal. Stop minimizing this. He cheated on you. Girlfriend, F21, and her best friend, F21, want a threesome but I'm having second thoughts. So obviously an FFM threesome is every man's dream and I want to do it of course, but the issue is that my GF's best friend had just recently gotten out of a relationship. A relationship from a guy who I'm actually good friends with. All I know is that it wasn't a bad breakup and that they're both still amicable with each other. Which makes this feeling of guilt a lot worse for me if I went through with it. Not really sure if this is a good idea or not honestly. I'm debating whether or not to let my friend know. I strongly suggest sitting down, fully clothed, and talking it out together before doing anything, so you are all on the same page. Don't do anything spontaneously. While a lot of guys come to fantasize about them, threesomes aren't always what they're cracked up to be. In this case, yeah, you have a lot of potential social ramifications. But also note your girl was pretty quick to jump in bed with a friend like that. That might be a side eye by itself. And what if it ends up just being the two of them? What if your porno fantasy is actually just your GF's excuse to sleep with her friend, etc.? Like, be careful with that stuff. It can seriously throw off the energy of a relationship even just suggesting it. And if you did it, that'd change a bunch of stuff moving forwards. Still, you're young, maybe it is worth it just for the experience. I just worry there is more to lose here than you seem to appreciate. One of my friends did this. Except he was 28, I think. Him and his fiancée had been together for 6 years. Decided to have a threesome with her best friend. They aren't together anymore. She's a lesbian now. Just for the record, a threesome is every 18-year-old's dream. I have zero desire to sleep with another woman even if my partner was there. Mine and my partner's dream is to live away from people so we can build Legos in peace. As a woman, my first thought is that this has very little to do with you, and a lot to do with the women wanting to sleep together. You are possibly just the means of keeping it guilt-free. It's very likely to turn out different than you've imagined. There is a reason Reddit is littered with threesome horror stories. There are about 100 things that can go wrong. And honestly, you would be a huge asshole in this instance. If you were my supposed friend and did this with a very recent ex, not only would I end our friendship, you better hope we don't run into each other. And that your girlfriend and her want a threesome with you in these circumstances raises a whole lot of other red flags to me. Danger, Will Robinson. Emotional quicksand ahead. Fiancé, 29M, hates me, 28F, for backing out of a home purchase. My fiancé, 29M, and I, 28F, have been searching for our first home for 3 months. Endless tours, offers, disagreements, disappointments culminating in our most recent offer. We both fell in love with a house that was a bit out of my neighborhood comfort zone in terms of safety and distance to my work. However, I loved the house so much that I ignored my intuition and we made an offer. The process happened so quickly and our offer was accepted. That night, we brought my parents to see it from the outside and there were multiple drunk men hanging around or passed out on the stoops nearby. It immediately gave me a bad gut feeling, and I regretted not checking out the area at night. I felt so uneasy and nervous to sign on to live somewhere that did not feel safe to walk around or walk my dog at night. I immediately told my partner that I want to terminate our contract. He was devastated, because this was the first time our offer was actually accepted. The house had everything we wanted. I guess I got cold feet and he couldn't convince me otherwise. We stayed up all night talking and crying and he tried changing my mind, but I did not want to take a risk. We ended up terminating the offer and he is extremely upset with me. I feel like I broke his trust and disappointed him, but I had to trust my intuition. I just wish I could have made that decision before placing an offer. I just feel like a doofus. How can we move forward? Our realtor will likely drop us for this, and I feel so bad for dangling this house in front of him just to take it away. Am I a horrible partner? How can I get him to forgive me? I wish he was more understanding that as a young woman in a large city I need to feel safe, even if our thresholds for safety are different. You just inexperienced in house buying. It's better to back out now, much cheaper. And start from location. Too far from work, unsafe, nope, no house worth it. House can be fixed, location is what it is. The offer may have been accepted because it was in a bad neighborhood, and they feared they would not get a better offer. Inexperienced home buyer. It's better to figure that all out before you make a six-figure mistake. You're not a horrible partner. It sounds like neither of you took the time to research the area before you made the offer, which is understandable because the house had everything else you wanted. He'll pout about it for a few days and then get over it, I guess. If he doesn't, then you're going to have a conversation about how he handles conflict and disagreement in your relationship. Your realtor is unlikely to drop you. They want the commission when you eventually buy. If the neighborhood made you uncomfortable, you were right to back out. When your fiancé gets past his initial disappointment, I hope he realizes that you are concerned about your safety and the safety of your future family. When I bought the houses I have owned, I drove around a lot of neighborhoods during the day and also at night before I even looked at homes. He doesn't hate you, he's just upset with you right now. It's an extremely frustrating situation you put him through, and I'm sure you would be equally as upset with him if he had done the same thing to you about another issue he was worried about. Just give him time to cool down. Do not push him to just get over it because you're embarrassed that you jumped the gun. And learn from this moving forward to check out a neighborhood during different times to get a feel for how it changes throughout the day. Leaving my 38F husband, 40 male, because of poor emotional regulation with daughter, 12. I'm seriously considering leaving my husband because of how he parents, specifically, how he handles his emotions around our 12-year-old daughter. I worry that by staying, I'm showing her that his behavior is acceptable, and all of the other negative effects of his yelling can have on a child's development. My husband isn't abusive in the traditional sense. He doesn't hit or use threatening or degrading language, but he struggles with emotional regulation. He gets frustrated quickly, yells, and lashes out at objects, slamming his mouse, throwing his phone or headset when technology doesn't work. He doesn't throw things at people, or even as a response to people. It's usually the specific frustration that he has with those objects, but another example of his poor emotional regulation. I saw this early in our relationship, but I didn't understand how much it would impact our home, as he doesn't yell at me and never has. He would only get frustrated at situations, traffic, TV not working, etc., and never at me. Only our daughter. Over time, I've tried to manage the environment to avoid his outbursts. I took over our daughter's morning routine when it became a major trigger for him. Now bedtime is the issue. I handle almost all of it, but even the small amount he's involved can lead to yelling. It's not constant, but it happens enough to affect all of us. My daughter has completely shut down with him. She avoids talking to him, won't share anything about her life, and won't spend time with him. When he picks her up from a friend's house, she sits in silence. They're like roommates now. She'll only talk to me, share with me, including how she feels about her dad. I've tried to talk to both of them. I've encouraged my daughter to give him a chance when he says he'll change, to be patient, to try listening better, but she won't. She says he's just too angry. And honestly, I understand. He's tried to get help over the years, but nothing has really changed. I'm exhausted from trying to hold everything together. This weekend, they finally spent some time together, and she was so happy. Then bedtime came, and at 10 p.m., she still hadn't brushed her teeth. He yelled at her in a really loud way. My heart broke for her. I know he loves her. But if his way of expressing frustration is making her feel unsafe and emotionally shut down, that love isn't enough. If I leave, at least I can give her a peaceful home when she's with me. And maybe it would force him to confront his behavior more seriously when I'm not there. How do I handle this? Stop encouraging your daughter to give him a chance. That completely minimizes her valid feelings. She's spent 12 years around a volatile man, and that's already done more damage than you're aware of. The time to leave was years ago, better late than never though. I've encouraged my daughter to give him a chance. Don't you dare put this on a 12-yo. This is not a both sides situation. Shame on you. Protect your kid. I had a father like this and he didn't seek help until after my mother left, and by then I was an adult. His reactions are damaging your daughter. If he can't learn to control these reactions, I think it best to get her out of there. Yes, you are letting your daughter be abused. She needs to be away from that in therapy yesterday. And she'll probably hate you for allowing this to happen to her as well. It's time to leave. If he can't manage his own emotions at his big age, then you need to prioritize her and your emotional safety. It's not your job to manage him or his feelings. Please get out. I think you'd be doing the right thing to leave. Nobody should have to live in a home where they have to tiptoe around to stop a grown adult from having a tantrum.